2. Attack. On Sunday morning, December 7, 1941, Japanese aircraft attacked American military and naval installations at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. The surprise engagement lasted approximately 2 hours. Resolution of the Pacific conflict would occur 4 years later with the arrival of the atomic age. Simultaneous with the raid on Oahu, the Japanese launched assaults on the Philippines, Guam, and Midway Island. These events tragically condemned the pitiful condition of American intelligence efforts. The following day, Congress declared war on Japan. 3 days later, the United States extended the declaration to Germany and Italy. The initial months of the Pacific conflict were desperate and devastating for American forces. At Pearl Harbor, 19 ships were sunk or disabled. About 150 planes were destroyed. 2,335 soldiers and sailors were killed, and 68 civilians perished. The Japanese seized Guam December 13th and Wake Island December 22nd. The Philippine invasion, December 10th, repelled the American defenders, with Manila and Cavite soon falling to the Japanese, January 2nd. After a siege of more than 3 months' endurance, Bataan collapsed April 9th, and American forces withdrew to Corregidor Island, where 11,500 ultimately were forced to surrender, May 6th, to the Japanese. The costly Battle of the Java Sea, February 27th through March 1st, traded vital naval war material and precious lives for time. Having regrouped its forces, the Navy halted the Japanese advance in the Battle of the Coral Sea, May 7th and 8th, the first engagement in history in which surface ships did not directly destroy each other, as all fighting was done by carrier-based aircraft. A month later, in the Battle of Midway, the Japanese suffered their first major defeat. 4 aircraft carriers sunk and 275 planes lost, and the tide of the Pacific War began turning against Nippon. American forces did not actively join in the offensive against Germany and Italy until 1942. The first independent United States bombing raid in Europe was conducted August 17th by the 8th Air Force from England in an assault upon the railroad yards at Rouen. By autumn, British and American troops under the command of General Dwight D. Eisenhower executed Operation Torch, with landings November 8th in North Africa. By the new year, Eisenhower was appointed, February 6th, Commander-in-Chief of all Allied forces in Africa, and by the spring, May 13th, had succeeded in liberating that continent. Out of this campaign came the strategic advantage for the invasion of Italy, September 3rd through 9th, and recognition of Eisenhower, soon transferred, January 16, 1944, to command of Allied expeditionary forces in London, as a brilliant organizer and leader of the diverse Allied armies. 6 months after assuming command of the European theater, Eisenhower was executing, June 6th, Operation Overlord, the invasion of France along the Normandy Peninsula. It was the beginning of the end of the Nazi Empire. During the spring and summer months of 1945, World War II came to a halt. On May 1st, the Provisional German government announced Hitler was dead, a suicide in the ruins of Berlin. An instrument of surrender was signed at Allied headquarters at Reims on May 7th. VE Day, the formal end of the war in Europe, occurred the following day, and the German surrender was ratified in Berlin on May 9th. 3 months later, United States aircraft dropped atomic devices on Hiroshima, August 6th, and Nagasaki, August 10th. Agreement as to the conditions for Japanese surrender was achieved on August 14th. VJ Day, the formal end of war in the Pacific, occurred the following day, and the Japanese surrender was finalized on September 2nd. Official termination of the declaration of war against Germany took place on October 19, 1951. Official termination of war with Japan came on March 20, 1952, with the Senate ratification of the Treaty of Peace. This is Our Hidden History